Tonight on Reporting Scotland, trust in our politicians is at an all-time low. That's the assessment of the nation's top pollster, Professor John Curtice. The research comes after Scotland's party leaders played the blame game during a fiery election debate.
Glasgow parents and Scottish parents in education are sick of you passing the buck.
You're just giving us lie after lie after lie.
Also in tonight's progress for a 10-year-old with a severe spinal condition after 7 cancelled operations.
And the wee character, she's really funny, so she is. Yeah, and it's come back. We've missed it for a long time.
The family of Eva Tennant was told to prepare for the worst before an 11th hour procedure which has extended her life expectancy.
We're live in Munich as thousands of Scotland fans begin arriving in the city to get the Euros party started.
And there's plenty more Euros build-up to come in the sport. I'll be live here at the Scotland training base with around 48 hours or so to go to that opening game against Germany.
Hello, I'm Laura McKeever. Welcome to Wednesday's programme. Could trust be a key issue in this general election? Trust and confidence in our politics and election system has never been worse, according to analysis by the electoral expert Professor Sir John Curtice. And we certainly saw a high degree of scepticism among the audience at last night's BBC Scotland Leaders' Debate, as our political correspondent David Henderson reports.
A bruising TV debate amid a battle for political power. But in last night's set-piece event on BBC Scotland, it was voters in the audience making their voices heard.
Glasgow parents and Scottish parents in education are sick of you passing the buck.
You're just giving us lie after lie after lie.
Shame on the lot of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Those audience members were voicing frustration, but they're not alone. A new report reveals that trust and confidence in our politics and election system have never been worse.
45% of us say we almost never trust governments of any political party to put the interests of the country first above the interests of their own party. And nearly 80% of us say that the system of governing Britain needs a great deal or quite a lot of improvement.
What then can be done to restore faith in the UK's political systems? On the campaign trail today, there were different problems diagnosed and different treatments on offer.
The promise I'd make is this on how we rebuild trust. One, we're only going to make promises we can keep. I would rather under-promise and over-deliver for people here in Scotland. Secondly, we will always put the country before we put our own political party.
We've got 2 parties, both in Scotland and in Westminster, who have been in power for a long time. Things do feel a bit broken, and so I think I very much understand why people feel, frankly, a bit scunnered. But it's our job as politicians to demonstrate that we can deliver.
Among the reasons this report blames for this crisis in confidence, economic turmoil, political scandal and disenchantment over Brexit. Manning the tills today, John Swinney said politics was in a bad way.
I think people are hurting just now. I'm conscious of that. I know that from my constituency caseload with members of the public. I see it from my different encounters around the country. People are hurting. And what we've got to make sure is this election is used to try to help to heal how people are feeling.
I don't think any particular party is responsible for this. Around the world, I think trust in politicians is in question. That's why in general elections it's an important time for us to take our case to the country, to show how we can improve people's lives for the better, and then most importantly do that once we're elected.
So whoever wins these Westminster elections just over 3 weeks from now will face another pressing challenge: how to rebuild trust in the way the UK is governed. David Henderson, reporting Scotland.
Well, our political correspondent David Wallace-Lockhart is here with us. David, in that debate last night, the SNP leader John Swinney said that Labour would impose £18 billion worth of cuts. Labour say that's not true, and you have been looking at the figures for us.
Yeah, so let's assume here that Labour, in power if they get there, will stick to their promises on tax and spend. So no rise in income tax, national insurance or VAT. Also, they won't be borrowing for day-to-day spending, and they'll get debt falling. We're also assuming here that growth stays relatively flat, as it has been lately. Now, The IFS, independent, respected think tank, we can have a look at some of the numbers that they've come up with here. And they think that day-to-day total spending will be increasing by 1% above inflation. But a lot of that, a disproportionate amount of that, is eaten up by what we call protected departments. So areas like health, areas like defence that don't face cuts. And that means if we look at the next figure from the IFS, that unprotected departments, potentially areas like UK Justice, face cuts of between 1.9% and 3.5%. The SNP have taken this, and that's where they've extrapolated that £18 billion figure from. The IFS says this is a fair number to come up with.
So what does this mean then for people in Scotland?
Well, this is UK government spending we're talking about, but the UK government spends in Scotland. They have a big knock-on effect to the Scottish government budget. Anas Sarwar said last night from Scottish Labour there'd be no return to austerity. There is an increase by the IFS estimations in overall spending, but we don't exactly know what the definition of austerity is, and it does look like some departments could face cuts. Another question is, will Labour change tact if they get into power? Are they able to achieve huge levels of economic growth? That's a big question there. The IFS do also say we've got no spending plans published beyond this year, meaning there is a big grey area here.
OK. David, many thanks. And as part of his series of interviews with party leaders, Nick Robinson will be joined by the SNP leader John Swinney tonight on Panorama. That's straight after this programme, 7 o'clock on BBC One and on BBC iPlayer. Now, you might remember Eva here, whose story we brought you 3 months ago. Eva's 10 and her life-saving spinal surgery had been cancelled 7 times. Now she's home after finally getting the operation, and her family says she's doing really good. Our health correspondent Lisa Summers has her story.
A big smile that speaks 1,000 words. It's been a roller coaster ride for Eva and her family.
Eva obviously can't talk, but she can talk with her eyes.
Yeah.
She can communicate with her eyes, and her own wee character, she's really funny. So she is. Yeah, and it's come back. We've missed it for a long time.
This was Eva 12 weeks ago in Edinburgh's Sick Kids Hospital. After a number of cancelled operations because of staff or bed shortages, she was finally due to have spinal surgery.
It would get Eva out of pain. It would get Eva back into a life of going to school, getting out in her wheelchair. The surgeon told us that will prolong her life after the surgery for maybe up to another year.
But at the last minute it was cancelled after the suspension of her surgeon. A new doctor said Eva was now too ill to operate and offered only palliative care.
He told us as well that if they'd maybe done the operation when Eva was first diagnosed with scoliosis, it could have made a difference. And they just left it, knowing that Eva would deteriorate quickly.
With a life-limiting genetic condition and advanced scoliosis, Eva's spine was twisting and curving. These x-rays show in a year it had gone from 60 to over 100 degrees. But this is her latest x-ray. After her story hit the headlines, a third surgeon at the hospital reviewed her case and the operation went ahead.
Are we going to see the birds? Yeah, we go this way.
Eva's now home and enjoying life. She lives with her dad and stepmum, and Mum Jill sees her every day too.
Bumped you in the hole?
Oh, it's been great. She's been doing amazing considering where we were for that 12 weeks.
NHS Lothian say in complex cases, medical opinions can differ, and that's why a whole team is involved in making decisions on treatment. They say they've apologised to Eva and her family.
I've just been told nothing could be done, something could be done, nothing could be done.
I think it's far too easy for doctors to give out end of life not knowing
the child.
Right.
Silly daddy. Eva's family say this operation has prolonged and given her a quality of life. She'll turn 11 on Friday with plenty to celebrate. Lisa Summers reporting Scotland.
OK, it's almost time. Just 2 more days to go until the Euros kick off in Germany. And Scotland fans are arriving in Munich for the tournament's opening match against Germany on Friday. Our own Laura Miller is there to get the party started. Laura, is the atmosphere building up now?
Yeah, well, I have to say, Laura, it very much feels like the party has already started here in central Munich. In fact, this bar here has just told me that they've run out of beer. So, yeah, good luck with that. But this is Marienplatz. It's become something of an unofficial meeting place for Scotland fans arriving in the city. They've been filtering through here all day, stopping, having a chat, having a beer, a sing-along, a game of football, and generally becoming a bit of a tourist attraction themselves. And earlier in the day, avoiding this ball here, earlier in the day a woman stopped me and she said she heard the singing and she saw the camera and she said, "Something's happening, what's happening?" And I said, "Yeah, it's the football. Scotland are here." Well, indeed they are, as Stephen Gordon reports.
In a Munich square, the Tartan Army announced their arrival in Germany. The anticipation of a major tournament there for curious locals to see.
We just followed all the Scotland tops and we came and saw the big cathedral thingy and we thought it was so tired. I'm like, this is brilliant.
As soon as we qualified, it's actually just been at the top of my mind.
And now you're here, how are you feeling about it?
Mental. I can't believe it's actually happening.
My wife doesn't care I'm here.
So how have you managed to get here without your wife knowing?
She went out shopping. She went to Marks and Spencer and I sneaked out.
Some journeys have been more straightforward than others. This one started in Glasgow this morning.
Hopefully these guys in the back aren't going to start getting tanked up on the bevy and leave me with all the driving. But no, we're absolutely buzzing for it and can't wait for it.
These fans have already covered the miles, set up camp in the Bavarian countryside.
So spent just under 2 weeks getting here, so headed across to Bruges, spent a couple of nights there, lovely beer, down to Luxembourg. Luxembourg, we went to Strasbourg, and then from Strasbourg down to Lindau, and then on to here.
If we're going to go, let's make it an adventure rather than just about the few games at the qualifying. So,
has it been an adventure so far?
Has it ever?
With 2 days to go until kick-off, this is just a small flavour of what Munich can expect. The authorities here are preparing for up to 200,000 Scots to arrive.
And if you're a well-kent footballing face, don't expect to escape unnoticed.
I honestly, Hannah, I think they'll get through the group. I hope they'll get through the group, because we want to see this lot here for as long as possible.
The numbers are building, and so is the excitement. Stephen Gordon, reporting Scotland, Munich.
Well, as Stephen said, ahead of Friday's match, thousands more fans are expected to descend on this city. A party? Yes. A logistical challenge? Absolutely. But one that the authorities in Munich say that they are well covered for. But listen, we will have it all covered for you over the next few days. Tomorrow, we have a special hour-long edition of Reporting Scotland. And again on Friday, 6:30 to 7:30, taking you right up to just before kick-off. But for the moment, from a very, very lively Munich, it's back to you in the studio.
Laura, thank you so much. I'll let you go and join that kickabout. OK, let's get some of the day's other news now. A ban on protests or vigils within 200 metres of abortion clinics here has been passed at Holyrood. The legislation's been described as a historic moment for women's rights by the Green MSP Gillian Mackay, who proposed the bill. But concerns have been raised around potentially criminalising silent prayer. MSPs have voted to release more than 500 prisoners early because of overcrowding in jails here. The Chief Executive of the Scottish Prison Service says the move's necessary for the safety and welfare of inmates and staff. Opposition parties have questioned whether enough's been done to notify victims of crime. Now, a former Scotland cricket international who says he's been cleared of racism allegations is demanding an apology from the sport's governing bodies. John Blaine was told in January that an investigation has found that he had no case to answer. Our Home Affairs correspondent David Cowan reports.
Capped 118 times for his country, John Blaine was investigated by a legal team appointed by Cricket Scotland. In January, its then chief executive told him the allegations had not been founded, there was no case to answer, the matter was closed. He says the process and accompanying publicity has taken its toll.
This is the hardest thing, you know. My most immediate family suffered. I'll give you an example. Mum had a stroke under the stress of it. My partner suffered a miscarriage. My son was targeted at school. My daughter wouldn't come downstairs because journalists were, at the house. Police were outside twice a day.
Last year, England's ruling cricket body, the ECB, found John Blaine and 5 others guilty of using racist slurs at Yorkshire Cricket Club. The ECB's standing by that. The player says his name should now be cleared north and south of the border.
If I was using such language, I'd be disgusted with myself, and people would be probably pulling me up about it. I didn't use this language. I didn't speak like this. I'd like a public apology from Cricket Scotland and from Sports Scotland to what they have put me through.
Cricket Scotland and Sports Scotland have defended the way all of this has been handled. The lawyer for 2 Scottish players who say they were the victims of racism has called for a public inquiry into the entire affair. David Cowan reporting Scotland.
OK, let's return to the election now and focus not on politicians, but on you, the people that they're being elected to serve. Tonight, we're in the Highlands looking at the priorities for those living in the Caithness, Sutherland and Easter Ross constituency, which is now the largest UK constituency by area. Ian McInnes reports.
The Kyle of Sutherland and the town of Bonner Bridge, a crossing and meeting point for many years.
Is this you? Is this Doris?
Today, the local community cafe is welcoming folk in for a hot meal and some company. But what are the election priorities here?
Cost of living, definitely, because obviously we're a small community, we don't have much options for like getting shopping and things, and then public transport as well. They're trying to encourage folk to use public transport, but the cost of that as well I find is very expensive.
I think one of the main problems, particularly in this area, is depopulation. I don't quite know how you address all that, but it's certainly a problem.
All of these factors contribute to depopulation. If you're young and coming through the system and you can't get to work and you can't actually make a decent living if you do get to work, why would you stay and why would you want to live here?
Another hot topic is fuel poverty and energy pricing, with plans for more wind farms in the area.
If we are getting all the infrastructure on pylons and wind turbines, then we should get cheap electricity.
Here we have no mains gas, it's 100% electricity. That's 4 times the price of gas. So when you're talking about £1,900 for a typical home, it's actually £4,300 in our area. So fuel poverty has been driven by high energy prices. And when you see the turbines and the transmission lines being built here, it's really an injustice that we need to get to the bottom of, because we can't go on paying more for energy when we're producing it here.
Whoever's elected here will have a vast area to serve, but also many distinct and challenging issues to grapple with. Ian McInnes reporting Scotland in Bonner Bridge.
OK, let's head back to Germany now and get tonight's sport with Lewis. Lewis, how is the build-up at the Scotland camp?
It's certainly building, Laura. Yes, hello there from what is quite a magnificent backdrop here at the Scotland training camp in Garmisch, where the squad have been training and preparing all week for that opening game against the hosts Germany in Euro 2024. I just arrived here earlier today from Munich, where, as you saw earlier in the programme, it's getting busier and busier there. I can tell you here, though, it is so quiet and so peaceful, and it is quite the backdrop for a training camp, isn't it? Well, the squad will leave from here tomorrow to head to Munich, around about an hour and a half or so away. For manager Steve Clarke, there's been no shortage of injury issues and scares in the build-up to this, the latest of those Scott McTominay. But there may have been some good news about his fitness, revealed by fellow midfielder Billy Gilmore, who spoke to the media this afternoon.
We know Scotty's been a key player for us with his scoring goals, and it's good to have him back in training. Of course, we're struggling a little bit with his ankle, but all good now, I think, and hopefully that's what I mean. We need everyone to step up. We know it's going to be a big game for Germany, and they're a really good team. I think we all know it's going to be a very amazing night. The atmosphere is going to be incredible. We know that from Germany fans and Scotland fans. Of course, I want to start the game and play every game possible. To walk out, if I did get the opportunity, amazing feeling. Opening game of a Euros, stuff of dreams really. So yeah, excited, and we'll see what happens.
The stuff of dreams for Billy Gilmore, the trip of dreams for many Scotland fans. But what about the opposition, Germany? They are well versed in major tournaments, that's for sure. The expectation on them will be to do well in the tournament as a whole, not just in that opening game. Earlier today, though, in the city centre of Munich, I went out and about to speak to the home fans to gauge the mood as the countdown continues to Friday. Tell me then, what do you think of Scotland? Do you fancy our chances, or are you confident as a German fan?
I think we're gonna win, but I'm looking forward to the match, and yeah, hopefully Germany's going to win. But
well, I don't want to remind you, but Germany were a little bit shaky on the build-up to this, weren't they? Not playing their best, so should Scotland be confident?
I hope that Germany's going to be all right.
What do you think for the game then? Germany, comfortable win for you as well on Friday, do you think? Or is it going to be easy for Germany?
I think it will not be easy. I think it's quite long be like a draw, and then maybe at the end Germany scores. But I think Scotland is dangerous at the end. They always can score one goal, and then if they're one goal ahead, and then they park the bus.
We'd take that for sure. Yeah. Who are you worried about in that Scotland team? John McGinn, Scott McTominay, they are kind of goal scorers at the minute. Are they players you're worried about?
No, I think we have a solid defence. I think we're good.
So not nervous for John McGinn?
No, I'm not nervous. It's just excitement at the moment.
Have you heard of John McGinn?
Who?
John McGinn.
No.
There we go. That's all I had to ask. And you'll be surrounded by Scotland fans, I'm sure. There's plenty of them, isn't there?
I haven't seen that many yet.
Oh, right.
I've just seen them like with a how do you call you?
Oh yeah, kilts.
Yeah, with the kilts. Yeah. No, I haven't seen that many yet.
Do you like the kilt?
Yes. You're not wearing them though.
I know, I've not got it on yet. I'll wait till Friday.
We are happy to see the Scottish people come all over from Scotland, and it will be a great game. And yeah, we wish them, a safe stay and happy stay. Don't drink too much. And Servus in München.
Thank you so much. Well, good luck and enjoy the game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, it's certainly getting interesting. I'm joined now in camp here by our sports reporter, Jane Lewis. Jane, we saw the atmosphere building in Munich. A very different atmosphere here in Garmisch, though.
Yeah, complete contrast, isn't it, Lewis? I mean, look around. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? But it's also quiet. It's really, really quiet. And listen, that's exactly what Steve Clarke, the Scotland head coach, would have wanted. You almost feel like you've been in a bubble here in the last few days. The players will have been completely shut off for any of the nonsense, and the midges as well. They're out here in force from anything that's going on in Munich. He wants his players to forget about the outside noise, completely focus on what they're trying to do, and that's what they've been able to do. Come down here, train, go through all the hard preparation ahead of what's a big match on Friday, of course.
We heard Billy Gilmour talking about Scott McTominay's fitness. Injuries have been a bit of a theme in the last few weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, listen, the Scotland manager hasn't had his problems to seek, has he? We've lost some really key players in the build-up to this one. There were some very slight doubts over Andy Robertson and Lawrence Shankland when they trained here on Monday as well, but they're OK too. Billy Gilmour rather let the cat out of the bag. No secret, I don't think, that Scott McTominay had been struggling, but we didn't really know it was an ankle injury. We do now, so thanks very much to Billy Gilmour for that. But listen, he was very quick, wasn't he, to follow up with he's been training. It's great to have him in full training, and he's all good. So yeah, listen, Steve Clarke, as I say, one more training session for them in the pitch you can see behind us before they head to Munich tomorrow. He'll be hoping, fingers crossed, that all the players come through okay.
Absolutely, Jane. Well, the atmosphere building in Munich, that is where the squad will be going, as Jane says, and we will be live from the venue itself, the Allianz Arena, tomorrow night. But for now, it's back to you in the studio, Laura.
Lewis, we'll see you there tomorrow. Thank you for now. OK, let's take a look at the weather now. Christopher's here. Hello. Looking a bit nicer today there beside you.
Yes, some lovely spells of sunshine around today, but not everywhere, Laura. And tomorrow, rain.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed. Very good evening to you. The best of the sunshine today was in the west, but you can see some eastern areas had some blue sky and a bit of sunshine coming through, but tomorrow, pretty wet. How do we get there? Well, into this evening and overnight, the cloud will tend to clear away to the east. There'll be some clear skies, and under clear skies, it will be turning chilly once again, with town and city temperatures 4 to 7 Celsius in the countryside. A few spots down to around perhaps 1 or 2. To tomorrow then, and there's the rain. This weather front connected to low pressure near Iceland. That'll sweep in, bringing thickening cloud and outbreaks of rain through the day. Initially, we've got some morning sunshine, but the cloud soon spills in from the southwest, and the rain follows on as we head through towards lunchtime, reaching parts of west central Scotland and then continuing to track further north and east through the afternoon. So mid-afternoon, it's not too bad on the thermometer, 15 or 16 degrees, but the cloud and the rain not making things feel too great, has to be said. Further north, northern Aberdeenshire, Moray, the far north, some brightness, some sunshine holding on here, and across Sutherland, 16, 17 degrees, a good bit warmer than recent days. Into tomorrow evening, that rain still with us, tracking its way northwards, eventually reaching all parts. Now, looking ahead towards Friday, we've got low pressure firmly in charge of conditions, and it means it's a fairly unsettled outlook. We've got Thursday's rain, if you like, still with us on Friday morning across the Northern Isles. Elsewhere, it's a cloudy morning with showers developing, and those showers sticking with us into the afternoon. 1 or 2 on the heavy side, perhaps some brighter moments developing here and there, the odd rumble of thunder. Now, further afield on Friday, as we've been hearing, the all-important Scotland game kicks off the Euro 2024 tournament. 20 degrees, mostly dry, some sunshine as we head through towards kick-off as well. Closer to home, on the weekend, or low pressure still with us, so it's unsettled. There'll be showers or longer spells of rain at times, not as cool though as it's been. That's the forecast for now.
Chris, thank you. Good to get those match conditions for Friday too. Looking good. Thank you. OK, remember you can stay up to date on the BBC News Scotland website, and Anne McAlpine will be here with your late news around 10:30 tonight. Until then, though, from all of us here on the team in Glasgow and Germany, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.